Well, three other senators also figure strongly in the RCMP documents. And while investigators do not allege they broke any laws, they do question their version of events. Diana Swain picks up that part of the story for us. Diana.
Well, Peter, the Senate is supposed to be independent, but the RCMP clearly believes the PMO successfully pressured senators into manipulating the review of Duffy's expenses and into keeping that hidden from Canadians.
Now their names are well known. Senators Marjorie LeBreton, David Tkachuk, and Carolyn Stewart-Olsen, all Conservatives. LeBreton was the government leader in the Senate. Tkachuk and Stewart-Olsen were members of the Internal Economy Subcommittee looking at Mike Duffy's expenses. They have previously denied they helped whitewash the committee's final report.
Did they ask you to change anything in the report?
No, the report is as we produced it.
The RCMP clearly believes otherwise. It says the original draft was highly critical of Duffy. Police allege that criticism broke a deal he'd reached with the PMO to have his good name maintained if he found a way to pay back the money. And so, according to the RCMP, the harshly worded original posed a problem for the PMO, who in turn influenced Senators Tkachuk, Stewart-Olsen, and LeBreton to change the report to reflect wording that the PMO wanted. That wording removed all criticism of Senator Duffy. But when police interviewed her, Stewart-Olsen maintained no one gave her direction or orders to change the Senate report. The takeaway for police? That Senator Stewart-Olsen's version of events to police was incomplete and not consistent with the facts. She and Senator Tkachuk, being the committee majority, imposed their will and the will of the PMO on the Senate report.
I never believed that Mike Duffy should have the same report as the other two because as far as I was concerned, he paid his money back. That was a big difference, not knowing what was going on in the PMO at the time.
Stewart-Olsen says much the same. But it wasn't just the Senate report. The RCMP alleges Duffy also wanted the Deloitte audit quashed. When he revealed that part of the deal during his dramatic Senate speeches, LeBreton stood in reply and said she knew nothing about it.
This is not true. This is false.
But the RCMP alleges the evidence shows there was a plan to have Senator Duffy withdrawn from the Deloitte audit if he repaid, and the emails show Senator LeBreton was aware of it.
I'm sorry if they don't believe I answered all their questions honestly, and I conducted myself properly throughout the whole process.
All of this predictable fodder for the opposition.
The Senate was being run out of the Prime Minister's office. We know that. It's a Prime Minister's office like no other in the history of Canada.
The Prime Minister's spokesperson dismissed that.
What I can tell you is what we've seen in the document. RCMP's made it clear they're investigating two people for this, Mr. Wright and Mr. Duffy, period.
Peter, it's important to note that all of these allegations contained in this report are in fact still just that. None of this has been tested in court and no one has been charged.
Lots in those documents, Diana. Anything else we should know about?
They certainly make clear that there were some Senate staff who were openly alarmed, Peter, by what they saw happening. And one in particular, Christopher Montgomery, emerges as something of a white knight, telling police he was worried and told senators he thought they were compromising themselves by agreeing to change the report. And in fact, he says in his 7 years working here in the Senate, he could not before recall a time when PMO staff were sitting in on Senate meetings or insisting on specific wording in a report. And he says he told them he didn't think they should be there, but they did not leave. He now works in the private sector in Alberta, Peter.
All right, Diana, thank you. Diana Swain on Parliament Hill tonight.